21x plus 36. So with this one, what's the first thing that you have to ask yourself? Do I have a greatest common factor? Do you have a common factor? 3? Only 3? Yes. Why not 3x? Because the last term doesn't have any x. Okay, so let's factor out a 3. When I factor out a 3, I have to divide each term by a 3. You remember that? Yes. All right. Now, that will give me what? 1. X squared, yeah. What's 21x divided by 3? Plus 7x, yeah. Plus 12. Awesome. So you got your first step and you did your greatest common factor. Now, as of now, what we've done, we stopped, right? But for your next, now we're learning that we don't stop. We actually have to look at the leftover and see if the leftover can be factored any further. Okay? So now I have to look at the leftover, which is x squared plus 7x plus 12. It's a binomial or a trinomial? Trinomial. So that means I have to use sum and product method. Perfect. Now, with a sum and product, I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to 12, add to. So what multiplies to 12 and add to 7?
3 and 4.
So multiply to 12, add to 7. 3 and 4. Do you guys agree with that?
Yes.
3 and 4. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 plus 4 is 7. That means right away I can write it as x plus 3 x plus 4. Are we okay with that? How about for the next one? What's the first question you always have to ask yourself? Do I have a greatest common factor? Do you? What is it? 2. Excellent. So I'm going to take out a 2 and I'm going to divide each term by a 2. If I divide 2x squared divided by 2, what do I get? X squared. And then negative 50 divided by 2? Negative 25. Now, I look at the leftovers. What's up with the leftovers? 2 terms. And they're square terms? Yeah? Is there a minus between them? So what can I use? Difference of squares. So what would be my difference of squares? Yeah? Yes. Remember with difference of squares, you're going to take the square root of the first term, put it in the first place, minus and positive, and then you're going to take the square root of the second and put it in the second place. Anyone doesn't know that yet? Now, what if after you do the GCF, you can't find anything? Like there's no, the sum and product, you can't find any 2 numbers that multiply to whatever and add to whatever, or you can't find that it's a difference of squares. Can you stop and just do GCF? Yeah, right? So if I ended up with something that looks like this, for example, right? 30 is not a squared number, right? It is not, because it's 25, 36. There's no 30 as squared number. I stop. I don't do anything. Okay? I only had to do a greatest common factor. That's it. Does that make be my greatest common factor? Or do I have a greatest common factor? Yeah. 4. So I can divide each term by 4. And then I'll have, what do I have left?
1x squared.
Yeah.
1x.
Minus 8 divided by 4 is 2x. Yeah. And then what's negative 60 divided by 4?
15.
So negative 15.
That was mine. I was working up to it.
All right. I'm looking for what? So what do I have to do now? Two terms or what do I do? Sum and product. Okay. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to. Thank you. And add to negative 2. All right. What multiplies to negative 15? And then remember, both B and C are negative. What does that mean? The large number is negative and the small is positive. So what would give you negative 15? 5 and 3? Negative 5 and 3, right? Because the large number is negative, so it's going to be negative 5 and 3. Does negative 5 and 3 give you negative 2? Yeah. Perfect. So that's going to be 4x. What do I write here? X minus 5, yeah. And then? Perfect. And that is my factor. Now on this quiz, you're not going to have a mixed factoring. So it's going to either be GCF, or it's going to be difference of squares, or it's going to be sum of product. You're not going to have a mixed, okay? Because the quiz is up to what we learned on Friday, and then we didn't do the mix on Friday, okay? So remember that once you know if it's either GCF, or difference of squares, or sum of product, okay? There is no mix. There is no GC, so you won't have to do GCF and both factors. There won't be any questions like that. Yeah.
We have to do the one where you have to subtract what's the exponents? Like subtracting exponents like 4 square minus 2 square.
I don't know what you mean.
We just saw it before, the one where like you cut down exponents by subtracting them or something like that.
That's when you're dividing, when you're doing the common factoring, right? So let's say if you had 3x4 plus 6x cubed minus 15x squared plus 9x minus 3. Actually, no, I don't want that. Plus 3x. Yeah? What would you do for factoring here? What would be your common factor? 3?
3x.
3x. Why is it 3x and not only 3?
Because they all have x's.
They all have x's, and then the lowest one is x to the power of what? All right, so that means I have to divide everything by 3x. You guys, 3x. Okay, now tell me, what do you get?
1.
1 what?
x4.
X
Cube.
X cubed, right? Because remember, x4 over x. So you have x4
I only got x.
over x. So this and this are gonna cancel each other. So you're only left with x cubed, right? The 3 and the 3 becomes 1, x cubed. How about the next term? What's 6 divided by 3? 2
X squared.
squared. How about the next one? Negative 5x. Yeah? Yeah?
And then 1x.
Plus 1. Remember, the x and the x, they're going to cancel each other.
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay, so it's just going to be plus 1. Yeah?
One more thing about factoring negatives out.
Yep.
Yeah, are we going to be doing now? What's left here?
Could be. Possibility. And I told you, if the first term is negative, you must factor a negative out. Right? If your first term is a negative, you must factor a negative out. Now, something else that you need to remember is the expanding, which FOIL, and the expanding of vertex. Sorry. So, let's do a couple examples. So if you have 2x minus 1x plus 2, you expand that. I can't hear too many people talking at the same time. I have selective hearing. One at a time. Put your hand up. Yes, ma'am.
So then open the bracket.
Yeah.
Then the first line times with first.
Yeah. So you're gonna do first.
Yes.
Yeah.
X squared.
Yeah. So I'm gonna multiply the x by the x, and that gives me x squared. Yeah.
Then negative 2x.
Why negative 2x?
Because positive. Sorry. X times positive 2 is give us negative 2x.
No.
Positive 2x. Sorry.
Mhm.
Then negative 1 times x is give us negative 1x.
Yeah.
Then negative 1 times positive 2 is give us negative 2.
Okay. Are we okay with this? FOIL, right? Multiply the first, multiply the outer, inner, and last. Okay. Then what do I do?
Then collect like term.
I can collect like terms, so that means I have to add my middle terms here, right? Which is 2x minus 1x gives you just 1x. Okay? That's it?
Can you write just x instead of
Yeah. That's it?
No, you're gonna do sum and
No. I have to distribute the taco. Yes. So I have to distribute the 2. Right? I have to make the 2 in. Right? Because I wanna put it in the expanded form. I just want everything to be no bracket, right? Everything to be multiplied, and then no more bracket. Okay? That's a 4 at the end, by the way.
so what happened in the last one?
So the last line, you see that 2 outside? Got multiplied by every term inside the bracket.
Oh, okay. I get it.
The taco question. Right? You have 3 commas. All right. Are we okay with this? We'll do one more example before the quiz. Okay? We're going to do the vertex form. How can I go from vertex form to the standard form? Right? Again, expanding. Similar to this. Let's do this. Minus x plus 3 squared minus 4. There you go. You can use that. How would you expand this? So you're going to write x plus 3 twice, right? Remember, you have a negative here. This is going to be x plus 3 times x plus 3 written twice. Are we okay with this? Okay. Now, what's next? FOIL method. So what do I multiply? Okay, Okay, so I leave the negative outside, multiply x by x gives me x squared, yep. Keep going.
Plus 3x,
Plus 3x, yep. Plus 3x, yep. Plus 9. Perfect. I leave the negative 4 outside, right? I do not bring it in. I leave it outside. What would be your next step, guys? I can collect like terms. What would be my like terms in here? So that's going to be plus 6x. Okay? Then, multiply the negative 1 in, right? So that's going to be negative x squared. Guys, I'm minus 6x, yeah? Minus 9, minus 4. Okay? So that's going to be negative x squared minus 6x minus 13. Okay? Okay, that's a good review for your quiz.
I understand.
common factor and difference of square.
On the third line down, that's what I understand everything.
Of difference of square. How one can do a subtraction.
Can you repeat what you just said?
Common factoring and difference of square. And difference of square. How one.
Factoring difference of square is the same thing as what you just said.
Yeah, but it's when I do my homework.
On the third
I do
part is
in a
based on that.
different way.
But your number one.
So for common factoring,
That's how it's power.
I
Common factoring, you're just looking for your greatest common factor and taking it out.
yeah, then I do that.
Yeah.
And for factor,
Yeah.
how I know how to get out.
So already talked about